Hello everyone. The topic for today's lecture is iterators. Before I dive into the concept of iterators, I want to go through one more review problem which will give practice for you for the purpose of exam 2. Please pause the lecture video here and go through this code snippet. Then answer this question which is asking how many times is the word start printed. Write a comment in the comment section stating your answer to this question. If you were thinking the word start gets printed exactly once, then you had the correct answer to my question. Why is that the case even though we are making the function call within a for loop? Whenever you have a for loop of the form for x in some function call, you're going to execute that function call first and you'll be replacing that with whatever is being returned by that particular function. Inside this function, we are only displaying start once. So this code snippet is going to display the word start exactly once. Then we are appending the integer items of 0 through 9 into a list variable called nums. Then we are displaying the word end. Finally, we are returning a reference to the list object instance, which is being referenced by the variable nums. So we are going to replace this particular function call with the return value, which is going to be a list of integer items 0 through 9. Every iteration of this for loop is going to extract each of this number and put it into the variable x, and you're going to display the corresponding value. Let's learn the scary vocabulary of iteration. Lot of experienced programmers often confuse the terms iterable and iterator. Please make sure to understand the differences between the both very clearly. Let me get started by defining the term iterable. Whenever you have a for loop of the form for x in some variable, that particular variable is going to be an iterable. Recall that we can iterate over any kind of sequence using a for loop. List, string, and tuple are examples of sequence. So all of those are going to be iterable. The range built-in function returns a sequence of numbers. So that is going to be an iterable. Whenever you're dealing with an iterable, you can convert the iterable into a list because of this cyclic relationship over here. Let me give you an example. I have a string object instance here. String is an example of a sequence, so it is an iterable. Because of that, we'll be able to convert the string object instance into a list using the list function call. What this particular line of code will do is, it will take every character within the string object instance and add it as a string item within the list object instance. So after executing this line of code, list L will contain three items which are string object instances A, B, and C. We have covered other kinds of data structures where we can use a for loop. For example, we can use a for loop to iterate over the key value pairs of a dictionary. That is possible only because the dictionary methods of keys and values return an iterable. That is why you're able to write a for loop of the form for key in some dictionary variable name. Dictionary is not an example of a sequence. Why is that a case? Recall that slicing is a mandatory feature of a sequence. Dictionary does not support slicing, so dictionary is not an example of a sequence. Even though dictionary is not an example of a sequence, because the keys and the values method calls return an iterable, we are able to write a for loop to iterate over the key value pairs within a dictionary. Let me define the term iterator. Whenever you have an iterable, you can create an iterator with it using the iter function call. The iterator itself is an iterable. It better be, because that is the internal logic of a for loop in Python. First of all, you can create an iterator from any iterable using the iter function call. The iter function call is going to return an iterator object instance. The most commonly used variable to capture that particular object instance reference is going to be it. Once you capture the iterator into a variable it, you'll be able to call the next function on it to retrieve the next item from that particular iterable. The internal logic of the for loop is to invoke the iter function call to create the iterator, and every iteration of the for loop is going to invoke the next function call on that particular iterator object instance. So the first variable here is going to contain the character A as a string object instance, which is the first item within this particular string object sequence. Let's differentiate between an iterable and an iterator in a better way. How do we determine if x is iterable? If we are able to invoke the iter function by passing x as an argument and that particular function call succeeds, then x is iterable. How can we say if a variable y is an iterator? If the next function call when you're passing y as argument executes successfully and produces the next item from the iterable, then y is going to be an iterator. What is the relationship between the both? The iter function call returns the iterator, which is y. That is going to be the argument for the next function call over here. Let's go through these three examples to identify whether x, y, and z here are iterable and an iterator. I'm going to switch over to Jupyter Notebook. Observe that we already have questions about each of those examples in the template notebook file. The first example, X is going to store a reference to a list object instance which is containing three integer object instances. Let's call the iter function by passing X as argument. That is going to enable us to determine whether X is an iterable. This particular function call succeeds, so clearly X is an iterable. So how do we determine if X is an iterator? We need to call the next function call on it. The next function call here will produce a type error. That's because X is storing a reference to the list object instance. X itself is not an iterator. So I can write a note here saying X is an iterable and not an iterator. So how do we get the iterator out of the iter function call here? Let me store that into a variable called it. You can make any number of the next function calls on the iterator it as exactly the number of items which are available as part of this list object instance. Since there are three items here, I can make three next function calls by passing it as argument here. Every next function call is going to get the value corresponding from that particular iterable. So the first function call is going to retrieve 1, the second function call is going to retrieve 2, and the third function call is going to retrieve 3 over here. I got the previous error because I forgot to execute the cell after I stored the return value of the iter function into the variable it. So what is going to happen if I call the next function one more time by passing it as argument? That's going to throw a stop iteration exception. In the next lecture, we'll learn all about exceptions. For now, you just need to understand that you can invoke the next function call only the same number of times as the number of items within the iterable, which is going to be 3 in this particular example. Let's move on to the next example. Why storing the return value of the built-in function enumerate? Recall that the enumerate function returns both the index and the corresponding item from a sequence. So let's try to determine if y is iterable by calling the iter function and passing y as argument to that. Observe that this particular function call succeeds. So clearly y is an iterable. What about whether y is an iterator? Let me call the next function call by passing y as argument. I'm going to make the call thrice. I already know that y is also an iterator. Observe that we are able to get each of the associated values from the enumerate built-in function call. You're going to get index 0 along with the item string A, index 1, along with the item string B, and so on. So y is also an iterator. So what do you think will happen if I were to invoke the next function call on y one more time? That's going to again throw stop iteration exception because there are no more items for you to iterate over in this particular iterable that is being returned by the enumerate built-in function call. Let's go through this last example, which is asking, is z iterable or is z an iterator? Z is storing an integer object instance, so iter of z will not work. Similarly, next of z will also not work because the primitive object instances are neither iterable nor an iterator. So I'm going to write a note here saying z is neither an iterable nor an iterator. Let me switch back to the slide deck and I'm going to briefly introduce you to the topic of open function. The open function enables us to read or write contents to files. We'll be learning about this particular function call in detail as part of the next lecture. For now, let's try to understand the association between open function call and an iterator. As an argument to the open function call, we are going to pass a string variable which is going to store the relative path or the absolute path to the particular file whose contents you want to read. The open function call is going to return a value which is going to be a file object. File objects are iterators, so we'll be able to write a for loop of the form for line in f and print of line. Every value that is going to come into the variable line here is going to be a single line entry as part of the file. For example, if file.txt contains 5 lines here, this particular for loop is going to execute for 5 iterations. Each of those iterations is going to display the corresponding line. I'll wrap up today's lecture here. In the next lecture, we are going to learn about exceptions. We'll be picking up this particular open function call example as part of the next lecture.